just after Christmas, you've come back and you've had two disappointing results just before the break. When did the COVID kind of issues in the squad arise?
I think that break after, if my memory serves me, that period after Christmas. So it was around that period where we started to capitulate a little bit with players with COVID, staff with COVID, some knocks and niggles, I think. So it was a difficult period for us. Not that that's an excuse to perform badly on the pitch, but it just meant that we were light in terms of squad numbers and selection.
In terms of the health of the players, how badly affected were the squad? Was it asymptomatic, or did you have some people who were actually quite ill?
Yeah, we had some people that were ill. Some people that were asymptomatic, but I think it's not just being ill with it; it's the effects after. Sometimes, and some of the players that have had it have struggled a little bit after, and we're still trying to manage that. Most of the players are now fine. Some of the staff, one member of staff is still struggling. This is kind of 3 weeks into it, so we can't underestimate the effects that it can have. And then I think the worry of the other players, conscious about getting it and staying safe themselves. It's just mentally draining as well as, if you've got it, physically draining. So it's been quite a challenging time.
And the first game back was supposed to be Bristol away after the break, which obviously was a big game due to their position and our hopes of climbing the table. How irritated were you when that game was called off, or was it actually a blessing?
I think at the time it was a blessing because we were quite light and a bit of the COVID outbreak. And I think we were the ones that cancelled the game because we were light on numbers. We couldn't field a fully fit squad. So that was our doing. It was right and proper that we cancelled the game.
Birmingham away. Just to touch on that, because although light on numbers and all the trouble you'd had, it was actually quite a frustrating result, wasn't it?
Yeah, we played very, very well, actually. We dominated the game. We were, I would say, by far a better team. I think their manager said to me at the end, they got away with that. We just couldn't finish, weren't clinical. We had the opportunities to win the game and couldn't finish it off. So that was a little bit disappointing. But the spirit in which we played and how we played was really pleasing. But it's not about that. It's about getting the job done and putting points on the board. So we felt that was an opportunity missed rather than a point gained. It was, a couple of points lost, really.
Considering you played reasonably well at Birmingham and deserved to win, how out of the blue was that Man City result for you?
Well, we knew it would be tough. I think the manner in which we lost was the disappointing thing, rather than the fact that we lost. I hate losing. The girls hate losing, but I think you can lose and lose well, if that makes sense. I don't think we had the fight, the desire, the appetite, irrespective of all the other stuff going on. I still would expect that. And we didn't have that fight and desire and commitment and application. It just didn't show. And that was the most disappointing part of that game.
At what point did you sense that particular game against Man City was going the way it was going?
If I can remember, quite early on, I think. I don't know, when did they score? What minute did they score in? I just felt that it was all too easy for them. They played through us too easily. They played round us too easily. I mean, we recognise that perhaps player for player, they've got a very, very good squad of players. But when we played them earlier on in the season, they also had a squad of very, very good players, and we were competitive. We fought for each other. There was some desire and intent. We didn't want to be beaten, and we just didn't have it in that game for whatever reason. Without making excuses, it just wasn't good enough. And the players said it wasn't good enough. The staff recognised it wasn't good enough. We all knew it wasn't good enough. It was discussed, but unfortunately going into the next game, it got, in my opinion, considerably worse.
That Bristol game, would you say that's your lowest moment?
Yeah, so I was really disappointed. It was not a side that I recognised. I don't think the girls recognised themselves, to be honest. I think we were brutally honest, reflected after the game, had a meeting straight after the game. I was brutally honest. You look at yourself first and foremost. Checked, with what is it? I wasn't happy. They weren't happy. I think the good thing is that you do a period of reflection. I think the players then met again. Well, I know they met again on Monday, and they themselves recognised it wasn't good enough. They're all happy in the environment. They like, what they're being asked to do. They understand the strategies. They feel everything's covered, because I ask them the questions. Are we not doing something? Is there something missing? What is it? No. And they took ownership of that and full responsibility, as did the staff. We all went away. I reflected, right, I've got to do something else. This is not working right now. What is it? And basically, I just started again, basically. Stripped it back and said, right, it's going to be like this, this and this, and this is day one. And this is what we will be doing, and this is what you will have to do. And to be honest, they recognised that. They owned it, took responsibility.
After those two results, and you said you didn't recognise the side, how much was your confidence affected? How much self-doubt had kind of crept in?
I don't know that self-doubt. I want, you kind of wonder, right, what am I doing? Am I able to change? Am I doing something wrong? You kind of question your ability, I think, for a millisecond, because you have to reflect. It's really important that you do that and question. I questioned myself. I questioned the staff. Is something missing here? And I worked out what it was. It's basics. Go back to basics. Do the basics well. Be hard to beat. Start again, and that's all I did. And I think for the players, it was just about reminding them of the basics, the fundamentals that give you the best chance of winning any game, and that's what I did.
Do you think that obviously? I would assume you're taking the basics and you build on them every season to try and make the side a bit better in certain areas. Do you think where you've had so much disruption and so many injuries that maybe the team wasn't ready to do the extra bits you'd been working on, that's why you had to go back?
It's easy for me to use that as an excuse, but I'm not going to. I just think that while the team are doing well, you want to a little bit more. My job is to improve them and push them on a little bit more. And I think in doing that, perhaps, and I have to take responsibility for this, I automatically assume that the basics are there. They're already there. They're part of their DNA. And you can get carried away with doing the next bit without revisiting. And all I did was go back. Just go back, start again, go back, do it again, do it properly, go back. And that's all I did. So I take responsibility for that. And thankfully, it's, 2 games on, we're in a completely different world, different position. The Bristol game will always be a constant reminder that we can't ignore those basic principles, which I'll never do again.
Well, let's move on to the happier moments. We go to Chelsea. You've done all this resetting in the week. Did you really think deep down after what you've just gone through in the last 2 games that you would come away with a win?
My last words to the players were, don't lose the game. That was it. Don't lose, which means you can draw the game, and we've done well. Don't lose. And then you go a goal down in 5 minutes, which you kind of go, okay, here we go again. The only thing is the expectation of beating Chelsea was minimal. That's why I said don't lose the game. Priority, don't lose the game. As I said, 5 minutes in, you're a goal down and you kind of go, okay, reset in my mind. And, I have to give immense credit to the players. They were magnificent. We were outplayed but we blocked everything. We protected the goal well. Everybody was doing their bit, and that's all. If we'd have lost, I could not have asked for any more. But we won, so good feeling.
Goals, as they say, quite obviously change games. So that equaliser being so quick, how vital was that?
Yeah, I mean, the sooner you can respond, the better. You put yourself back at 0-0 in effect. It's even Stevens, isn't it? And they're not winning, but you're not losing, and that's the most important thing. 5 minutes in, we're losing. 5 minutes later, we're not losing. And I guess, being hard to beat, don't lose the game. Everybody did their bit to be hard to beat, to not lose the game. And then obviously a little bit of brilliance, and we get a corner, and we go the other end and score, and then we're hanging on for life. And it's a compliment when they bring on Harder, G, Frank Kirby to try and win the game, and we still had some resolve, and till the end we were resilient. We blocked everything, we denied them space, and ultimately that's why we won the game. We got some luck, which I believe in. The gods were on our side that day. They had something like 30 shots, 76% possession, but still they didn't win the game. And I think that was the most pleasing, the way we just worked together, everybody. It was great considering what had gone before. And being able to pick the phone up to your nearest and dearest and go, and by the way, we won. And it's just great. And it gives you a little bit of breathing space. Then you go on and win the next game. It gives you a little bit of breathing space. So yeah, good feeling.
It was a fantastic result. But did you almost feel going into West Ham, if you then lost West Ham, it kind of made that, that victory a little bit empty at Chelsea?
Yeah, we did speak about that, to be honest, Adam. We said it, if you don't do something in this game, it would all be in vain. That's such a high, and doing so well, it would all be in vain. And again, my words were, don't get beaten. Just don't get beaten. And I think we did enough. We were the better team, I would say. I think they had one effort, which we cleared off the line. But we created, the opportunities to score. We actually didn't score. It was an own goal, but we created enough to score. And I think we deserved to win. I think the last 15 minutes were a bit frantic, where we suddenly started to panic a bit, and they felt that and just sent the ball forward very early. And we panicked and played into that. Instead of trying to play, we kind of lost our way a bit. But again, resolve, everybody working hard to defend the lead. And again, I thought we did that really well.
So I think there's about 7 games to go.
Mm-hmm.
And if we had this interview 2 weeks ago, we might have been talking about what you need to do to stay in the league. But now, all of a sudden, everything's changed. What are your feelings about the run-in and what you can maybe achieve?
Number one, I don't think we would have had the interview 2 weeks ago. Number one. I think we can't get carried away. I think we've played more games than everybody else, and there's still points on the board for everybody else. I think, the next game is the most important game, and the game after that is the most important game. And I think it's a cliche, but we can't. This is the danger. You get complacent, you start to relax, and that, we can't afford to do that. We can't afford to just suddenly go, well, we're out of the woods. We're not out of the woods. We've played more games than everybody else, and those teams below us could catch us. So we have to be on it. We have to be really hard to beat. We have to keep picking up points. We want to climb the table. We want to do well. We want to compete. And every day is day one. Every day has got to be day one.
If someone was to ask you to describe the last 6 weeks, how would you put it to them?
Roller coaster, absolute roller coaster. And, the low, I felt at Bristol, I did feel low. It felt like, if I'm brutally honest, when I lost my job at the FA, it was that kind of feeling, what is going on? You know, when you do have a fraction of doubt, you question, you do, and rightly so, you question yourself, you have to reflect. I think the good thing, you know, Adam, is the bounce back, the plan, you know, right. I just knew, right, got to start again. And it was so clear. And to be honest, it was clear in 2013 when we got knocked out of the Euros and subsequently I lost my job. It was very clear what I needed to do. And I would have started again, but I didn't get the chance to. Whereas as here, I got the chance to, and it worked. I would have done exactly the same thing. I would have started again, clear out, all, you know, I would have done exactly the same. And it felt like that. You know, what would I do? You know, I reflected then, right, and go back the next tournament, this is what's going to happen. Obviously didn't get the chance, but here I had the chance to go, right, need to do this. Got to start again. And that's the beauty of club football, isn't it? The games are quick and fast. Quick and fast. I feel like I'm in a constant tournament. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster. But it's been fun. I can't deny it. It's been fun.